Cha-cha! Well, that wasn't as cool as I thought it would be, but I tried. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to module 6. 6. I had to count on my fingers because I'm an English major and we're not very good at math. Just kidding. That's actually a myth. English majors are actually good at math. I'm the only one that's not good at math. So I counted, okay? Module 6. And so today we are going to be talking about how to take your essay topic and transform it into a presentation that includes a media visual aid. And so we'll kind of talk about media type ideas at the end of this video, maybe give you some ideas in terms of like, should you include a website or should you include a portfolio of some kind, so whatever floats your boat. So I'll give you a couple of examples that I have that I use for professional development if you guys are kind of not really sure which direction you want to go there. So to start off, you're probably wondering, how the heck am I going to take 8 to 10 pages and condense it down into 5 to 7, oh look at that math, 5 to 7 minutes when you have such complex topics. So to do that, I want to give you some just borderline advice. For this particular presentation, I don't want you to stress out about giving all of the background to your audience. Again, we just need what they need to know for your argument. Make it clear, make it simple, but not too simple to where they can still understand, but don't overload us. So if you think it's going to be overwhelming in 5 to 7 minutes, maybe practice with a friend and see how they feel. Practicing your presentation is going to be the key to success in this project. So I know it's weird. I know it's a little awkward to ask your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your dog to listen to you as you time yourself for your presentation, but please do it. You'll thank yourself in the end. So the first step in figuring out what the heck you're going to include in your presentation is actually on paper. Yay, writing. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, I have this handy dandy sheet that I'm going to show you. Well, we're actually going to make it ourselves. So let me see if I can switch my screen just real quick. There we go. All right, so now you can see that I've got the speech rough draft notes, and there's nothing on it right now because I'm actually going to go into an old paper of mine. You've actually probably heard me talk about it. And I'm going to take the highlights of it out. And you'll notice that I'm not going to be taking much out of that paper. I think it's also 10 pages long too. So it's about the same length as y'all's. And I'm going to be taking a couple, probably about 5 points. 5 points for 5 minutes, right? So if I'm going to take 5 points out of there, that's not a lot. If you've got, 10 pages and only 5 points, that's not a lot to work with. So let's see what's important. Let's see what we're going to do. So I'm going to pull up this paper. It's my Greta Thunberg paper. I'm sure lots of you have heard me talk about it, okay? Ta-da! The infamous Greta Thunberg paper. Well, where'd it go? There it is. Excellent. Okay. So now we've got the Greta Thunberg paper that I have. I'm not going to go over what it's about. Basically, all I was doing was looking at Greta Thunberg's interactions on social media and how people are portraying her, but that's really all you need to know the gist of it, okay? So we're going to do some small things. So this is what you can do in order to keep yourself a little bit sane as you go through this process. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the beginning of my paper, okay? So I've got my title here, Tracing Climate Change. So I'm going to look at the beginning of this because I've got my background information. Okay. Copy, paste. And we're going to go back to my notes. Okay. We're going to go bullet 1, paste. Okay. And I know that doesn't look, we don't really need, take that out. Okay. So we've got background information. Okay, So now I've got my background information. So that's the first thing. Okay, now I'm narrowing down. What am I going to put in there? Background information. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think about, okay, so now I've got my background information out of my paper, okay? And you can, after this, after this first point, you can kind of go through and, that's not what I want to do. You can kind of go through and add on to this a little bit, add on, some things in your paper that you definitely want to talk about. But right now, we're looking at the main things the main 5 points that you want to make sure that from your paper to your speech, okay? So that's my first main thing, is the background information. And I took that from the first paragraph. Now we're going to go back through. We're going to look at it again. Going back to my final, okay. All right, so we've already done my intro, my background information. So the next thing are the memes, okay? So let's see. I'm trying to think of the best. You want to find the best thing that will kind of sum up what you're talking about. So I think maybe this, yeah, this probably is going to be the best, okay? Okay, so this is talking about how people think Greta Thunberg doesn't have a lot of credit even though she's only 16. So I'm going to copy that because this is one of the major problems in my essay. And we go back to my document. That's point number 2. And we paste it. And you'll notice that I have some images in my essay because I think some of you guys do too, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to go back and I might want to incorporate some of these images, since these are terrible images, and I only use them because I am proving a point how terrible people are. Now they don't listen to her. So if you want to use your images, you can put them in here as well. So that's my second point. Okay, so I can maybe copy, incorporate that as well. There we go. All right, so my next important thing. Move Greta up here. There we go. My next important one would be the theory that I use. So I'll go up there and get my theory. I know exactly where that is. Okay. All right, so rhetorical ecology is online. So this is my theory. It's right here. Copy and paste. And there's my third point. Okay. So you guys are kind of getting the gist, right? So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating the main points of my essay. Now this is not the outline just yet, okay? This is just helping me figure out what is important to go in there or not. So I'm not really deciding how I'm going to talk yet. I'm not deciding how I'm going to present it. I'm not deciding how I'm going to say it yet. I'm just deciding how the heck do I decide what's important and what's not. Okay? And my suggestion is if you've got 5 minutes, you pick 5 things. Okay, even if you've got 5 to 7 minutes, I would still say you pick 5 things. And so that might be background information, an overview of your problem, and then I've got my theory in here. The next thing I might have done, because I also in this paper I also talk about scholars that also talk about this. So I might previous research would be another thing that I talk about, and then implications. And a lot of you guys have implications as well. I'll let you look at my paper too, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is my theory that I use in my paper. And then I'm looking at some other scholars. So I talk about citizen anti-science. So this is previous scholars talking about that. And then I talk about the implications, which for you guys is the solution to your problem. Okay, so as you can see, each header has something really in particular that I want to talk about. So maybe that's a way that you can kind of decide what's important and what's not. So me showing you my paper is in a way just showing you how I would take what's important out of a 10-page paper and then put it into a 5 to 7 minute presentation. So let me show you again what I just did, because that's what you're going to do. Okay, so as you can see, these are my rough draft notes. Okay, so I'm going to have 5 things that I've picked out of my paper. Okay, I've got my background information, I've got the problem, I've got my theory, I've got previous scholars, I've got implications, but those are the 5 things that were important to my paper. Might be different for yours. But what I'm asking you to do for this module is to give me speech rough draft notes. Okay, so that's exactly what I just gave you, okay? So go through your paper and create a rough draft of the notes you would have if you were going to take out chunks of your paper and put it into a small little draft of your speech, okay? And this will help you kind of figure out, well, what do I spend my time on when I'm making my outline? What's important to my audience and what's not? What should I even bother explaining? And I think that'll kind of answer some questions about, well, you know, what do they need to know and what do they not need to know? I think this will help a lot. So that's what you're going to be doing for Module 6. And if you have questions, please let me know about that. Before I let y'all go, let me show you a couple things. Because I've been getting some questions about, well, what the heck do I do for my visual aid if I don't want to do a PowerPoint? It's a really good question. Let me show you. You can do this. You can give me a website just like I have right now. So this is actually my blog. You do not have to go read it. Please don't go read it. Or you can, I don't care. But it's a teaching blog. But this is a website that you can make using WordPress, and that would be no problem at all. This is actually really super easy to use. Or you can do, let me see if I can find it, this really cool thing called Portfolio. I'm showing you my Radford one right now, but you can definitely use it for free on Virginia Tech. Yep, so this is my portfolio. You can see my connections here. But this is where I put all of my like resume work and my portfolio stuff. So my previous assignments, you can see it here. If it'll load, maybe not. Yep. Yep. So here are my assignments. There we go. Yeah, so this is another way that you can display your work if you would like to do that. If you want to record your presentation on this thing instead of doing a PowerPoint or or anything like that, you can do one of these two, or you can do a graphic. You can do anything you want. I'm completely okay with whatever you want to do. So just be as creative as you feel like, and I'll be okay. If you have any questions about anything that you have ideas on, or if you want to run something by me, if you're feeling like you're really overwhelmed by all of this and you just can't handle what's going on right now, please just let me know. We're all in this together. I know that some of this is kind of it's kind of a little bit overwhelming right now, but you don't need to feel like you're all alone in all this. So if you have questions, it's better to ask me now than later. And if you don't have questions and you feel like you're in a good spot, then just keep going, keep doing what you're doing. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.